Here is a peek into one of our family's Christmas traditions.
Is this your responsibility?
I forget things all the time. In fact, one thing that I'm really good at is forgetting. From lunches to homework to appointments, you name it, I've forgotten it. The only way that I can prevent this train wreck of forgetfulness is by placing things in my path that will help me remember, like the keys on the hook, placing my bags by the door, putting my shoes in the same place. But that really just has to do with tasks and stuff like that. What about the bigger things? I think back to when my kids were little and they would say or do something and I would think, I will never forget that. I will always remember what just happened. But as time goes by, memories start to fade and they start to mix with other memories and you lose it. What about the really big things? The moments where God showed up in a miraculous way, or where we thought he should have showed up and he didn't show up at all. How do we remember those snapshots of him throughout our lives? Our kids are not going to get these beautiful scrapbooks documenting their lives. I wanted to do it. I planned on it, but I just forgot. Instead, our kids will get tubs of unorganized photos that don't have names on them or dates or places. And so that will lead to hours of fun trying to figure out who is who and when and where photos were taken. But what we do have is an ornament tradition. Each year, our kids get an ornament that's chosen by James and I specifically for that kid. It will kind of describe what that year was for that child. We write a note and explain why we chose that ornament for that year and date it, and also include some like funny stories that we had that happened throughout that whole year, or funny sayings that they had, things like that. But we always end it with glimpses of how the Lord is working in their lives. And so every ornament that's on our tree has a story behind it that's very special to us as a family. The kids will grab their boxes and they'll take turns reading out loud their letters and decorating the tree. And it's just a special time for us. One letter leads to a story that wasn't in the letter, and that leads to another story, and then we're all laughing. I'm usually crying, and it's just a special time where we can remember those tiny details that might have otherwise been lost. Tradition is the passing of customs and beliefs from one generation to the next generation. And the Bible is full of traditions and rituals. And even though our traditions today aren't as crazy as the ones that we find in the Bible, the principles behind them are still the same thing. We repeat things that are meaningful to us and help us remember God's faithfulness throughout the years. Like I said to begin with, this is just a peek into one of our Christmas traditions as a family. But today, what are some things that we can put in place as a reminder to us and the generations to follow of God's faithfulness in this moment?